We live in a world increasingly governed by feelings. People demand safe spaces from opposing viewpoints. This emotional reactivity, however well-intentioned, threatens the very bedrock of a free society: individual rights. Rights are not granted by governments or dictated by popular opinion. They are granted by God and inherent to every human being. The right to free speech, the right to bear arms, these are not privileges to be revoked at the whim of the offended. They are fundamental protections against tyranny, both from the government and from the tyranny of the mob. A society that prioritizes emotional comfort over individual liberty is a society teetering on the precipice of authoritarianism. The right to speak your mind doesn't vanish when someone else is offended. It's precisely in those moments that this right matters most. It's crucial to understand that your feelings, while valid, are your responsibility. Others are not obligated to tiptoe around your sensitivities or censor themselves to appease you. No one is going to walk on eggshells for you. This doesn't mean we shouldn't be respectful or empathetic, but it does mean we cannot allow our emotional responses to dictate the limits of free expression. Freedom of speech is not a pick-and-choose system. It doesn't protect only the agreeable or the inoffensive. It protects all speech, even the speech that makes us uncomfortable, because once we start carving out exceptions, the very foundation of this right crumbles. Ask yourself, is my emotional reaction sufficient grounds to restrict someone else's freedom of expression? The Second Amendment of the United States Constitution protects the right of individuals to keep and bear arms. Those opposed to firearms, often driven by misinformation and fears about gun violence, advocate for stricter gun control laws that infringe upon the rights of law-abiding citizens. While the desire for safety is noble, it's essential to remember that criminals, by definition, do not abide by laws. Restricting the rights of responsible gun owners will not deter those intent on committing crimes. The Second Amendment is not a suggestion, nor is it subject to the whims of popular opinion. It is a fundamental right that protects individuals from tyranny and ensures their ability to defend themselves, their families, their property, and ultimately, against a tyrannical government. The right to self-defense is a natural right, and the Second Amendment simply protects that right from government infringement. The concept of constitutional and open carry, the practice of carrying a firearm concealed or openly in public, often without a permit, evokes strong reactions. Those unfamiliar with firearm laws and the nuances of the Second Amendment may find the sight of a firearm alarming, even when carried legally and responsibly. It's crucial to remember that constitutional carry is legal in 29 states across America and does not require a permit or registration. The visible presence of a firearm can serve as a deterrent to potential criminals, making them think twice before targeting someone who is clearly capable of defending themselves. Those who choose to open carry should be well versed in firearm safety, trained in the proper use of their firearms, and aware of the laws in their state. Responsible gun ownership is paramount, and education is key to dispelling myths and misconceptions surrounding firearms. Knowledge is power, and it can often replace fear with understanding. In the digital age, the battleground for free speech has shifted online. Social media platforms, while not government entities, have become the new public squares where ideas are debated and opinions are shared. Yet these platforms often engage in censorship, silencing voices they deem offensive or harmful, often with support or on behalf of the federal government. Freedom of speech encompasses all forms of expression, including online posts, articles, videos, and even art. No one, whether government or corporation, has the right to restrict this right based on their own subjective interpretation of what constitutes harmful or offensive content. The beauty of free speech is that it allows for the marketplace of ideas. When everyone is free to express their views, even the most controversial or unpopular ones, we create an environment where ideas can be challenged, debated, and refined. Censorship creates an echo chamber where only certain viewpoints are deemed acceptable. It's undeniable that we live in an age of heightened sensitivity. People are easily offended, and outrage spreads like wildfire online. While empathy and respect are essential, it's equally important to cultivate resilience in the face of opposing viewpoints. The ability to engage with ideas that challenge your own, to have your beliefs tested in the crucible of debate, is essential for personal growth and intellectual development. Instead of retreating into echo chambers or demanding the silencing of dissenting voices, let's strive to be open-minded, critical thinkers who can engage in respectful dialogue, even when we disagree. True freedom requires a certain level of discomfort.